Imagine a life where every meal you eat, every fire you light, and every shelter you build depends on your own two hands. That's the reality the Kilcher family showed us for over a decade on Alaska. The last frontier. Viewers watched in awe as they braved storms, built homes, and lived off the land in ways most of us can't imagine. But since the show ended, fans can't help but ask, what became of the Kilchers? Stick around, because today we're diving into their journeys, their struggles, and where they are now. The story of the Kilcher family began long before the cameras of the Discovery Channel ever arrived. In the late 1930s, as Europe was torn apart by the chaos of World War II, two idealists from Switzerland made a bold decision. Yul Kilcher, a brilliant scholar who spoke 12 languages, and Ruth Weber, an aspiring opera singer and poet, set out in search of freedom and a life far away from the Nazi threat. Their journey led them to the untouched soils of Alaska, where in 1940 they settled on 160 acres of raw land near Kachemak Bay. There were no roads, no modern conveniences, and no safety nets, just wilderness, willpower, and the daunting challenge of survival. Together, Yul and Ruth built a life rooted in simplicity. They farmed the land, fished the bay, hunted game, and raised 8 children. Nights were spent reading stories by the glow of kerosene lamps, while days were filled with endless chores of washing, sewing, tending animals, and teaching. Over time, through the Homestead Act, their land expanded to more than 600 acres. Yet, their legacy stretched far beyond the soil. Yul Kilcher became one of Alaska's founding fathers, elected as one of the 55 delegates who drafted the state's Constitution in 1955, before going on to serve in the state Senate. Meanwhile, Ruth carved her place as a writer and columnist for the Anchorage Daily News. Decades before reality television, Yul and Ruth were already storytellers. They filmed their own documentary, A Pioneer Family in Alaska, which they toured across Europe in the 1950s, showcasing not just their homestead, but their vision for what life in Alaska could be. The Kilchers weren't discovered by television. They were already pioneers in every sense, blending survival with creativity and sharing their story with the world. Fast forward to 2011, when Alaska, The Last Frontier premiered. The Discovery Channel gave the world a window into the rugged, self-sufficient lifestyle of the Kilchers. For 11 seasons, audiences watched them brave storms, hunt for food, repair machinery, and teach their children the traditions of homesteading. But when the show quietly ended in 2022, with no official farewell, fans were left with a haunting silence. What had become of the Kilchers after the cameras stopped rolling? Let's find out. As Kilcher, the eldest son, was perhaps the most recognizable figure of the series. On screen, he appeared as the wise patriarch, guiding younger generations with a mixture of hard-earned lessons and frontier philosophy. But beyond the stoic exterior, Atz carried a heavy past. In his 2018 memoir, he opened up about the trauma of growing up under Yul, a brilliant but volatile father whose angry moods cast long shadows over his childhood. Later, Atz served in the Vietnam War, an experience that left him battling severe PTSD. For him, survival wasn't just about braving the Alaskan wilderness. It was also about battling the storms within. Music became his lifeline. A celebrated folk singer and cowboy poet, Atz Kilcher turned his pain into stories and songs, often performing across Alaska and even sharing stages with his daughter, Jewel, who would rise to international stardom as a Grammy-nominated singer. On the show, fans saw Atz as a mentor and protector. In real life, he continues to live close to the land, but he has also found new purpose by working with veterans through programs like Healing Waters, where he uses music and storytelling as a tool for healing. His journey is proof that sometimes the hardest frontier isn't the land we stand on, but the battles inside our own hearts. If Atz was the soul of the family, his younger brother Otto Kilcher was the engine. From an early age, Otto was the fixer, the man who could repair anything and turn scraps into survival tools. His philosophy was simple: nothing is wasted, and everything can be fixed with enough creativity and grit. On the show, fans loved watching him tinker, weld, and invent. But in 2022, Otto faced a near-fatal ordeal that no amount of mechanical skill could repair. While caring for his cattle during a snowstorm, he was trampled by a cow, suffering broken ribs and punctured lungs. It was one of the most terrifying moments ever shown on Alaska, the last frontier, against the odds. Otto recovered, but the experience forced him to confront his own fragility. Rather than fade into silence, he adapted. Today, at 73 years old, Otto Kilcher has embraced the digital age, running a successful YouTube channel with over 80,000 subscribers. Fans now follow his projects online, where he continues to build, repair, and share glimpses of homestead life with his wife Charlotte and their son Ivan. For all his injuries and setbacks, Otto remains a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and old-fashioned Alaskan grit. Carrying the legacy into a new generation are Ivan and Eve Kilcher, one of the most admired couples from Alaska, the last frontier. Ivan, a former firefighter and skilled outdoorsman, inherited his father's gift for fixing and building, while his wife Eve, his high school sweetheart, became the heart of the homestead. Known for her abundant gardens and nourishing meals, she brought sustainability and warmth to the Kilcher way of life. Eve even authored a successful cookbook featuring 85 original family recipes, combining traditional methods with modern tips on foraging, preserving, and gardening. But when the show ended, Ivan and Eve didn't stop. Instead, they turned their way of life into a thriving educational platform. Through social media, their website, and their membership program, the Kilcher's Community, they teach homesteading skills to thousands around the world. Their videos go beyond picture-perfect moments, capturing both the rewards and the struggles of raising children, managing land, and keeping traditions alive. Their story proves that homesteading isn't a relic of the past, but a sustainable lifestyle for the future. That not every Kilcher tale was smooth. Alaskan Kilcher, often portrayed as the family's black sheep, once left the homestead chasing music, before returning to the wilderness with his wife Jane Kilcher, a fearless former commercial fisherwoman from Homer, Alaska. They became a fan-favorite couple. But in 2015, tragedy struck. While hiking in Otter Cove, Alaskan fell from a cliff, sustaining broken bones, punctured lungs, and life-threatening injuries. His painful recovery, shown in episodes like Hard Road Home and Recovery Road, left lasting scars on both his body and his marriage. By 2023, Jane Kilcher revealed that Alaskan had filed for divorce, breaking the hearts of fans who had rooted for their partnership. Still, both found ways to reinvent themselves. Alaskan now runs his own YouTube channel, where fans can follow his unfiltered adventures without the influence of producers. Jane, meanwhile, carved her own path. After working as a nurse during the pandemic, she joined the cast of Bering Sea Gold in 2021, one of the most dangerous professions in the world. From fishing to gold dredging, Jane Kilcher proved she was more than just part of the Kilcher legacy. She was a survivor in her own right. Another pillar of the homestead is Charlotte Kilcher, Otto's wife. Originally from Northern California, she came to Alaska in 1978 as a wildlife biologist and later met Otto during the cleanup of the Exxon Valdez oil spill on the homestead. Charlotte became a cornerstone, tending gardens, raising bees and poultry, milking cows, and cultivating over 450 peony plants. Today, she continues to manage the peony fields and remains active on social media, offering fans a glimpse into her life of resilience, sustainability, and devotion to the land. Bonnie Kilcher Dupree, wife of Alaskan Kilcher, appeared less often on Alaska, the last frontier, yet her creativity and warmth stood out. After the show, she pursued her passion for art, showcasing Alaskan landscapes in galleries and online. She and Ets now split their time between Alaska and Arizona, drawing inspiration from both the North's ruggedness and the desert's calm. Once a singer alongside her husband, Bonnie now devotes herself to painting, proving creativity thrives even in harsh frontiers. When Alaska, the last frontier, quietly ended in November 2022, it left fans without a farewell, marking the close of an era. Yet the Kilcher's story continues. Through music, YouTube, books, art, gardening, and even gold dredging. They adapt while honoring tradition. Their journey reminds us that survival isn't only about enduring Alaska's cold. It's about resilience, family, and carrying forward the courage to thrive. So, who's your favorite Kilcher? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this journey through Alaska, the last frontier, inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful stories, and share this video with someone who believes in resilience, legacy, and the enduring spirit of the frontier. Thanks for watching.